Hey everybody, Anthony Desiato here. I'm joined by my good buddy, comic book artist V. Ken Marion from DEATHSHROUD, coming soon from Dream Key Comics. What's up, man?
Hey man, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
I'm happy to do this chat with you about DEATHSHROUD because this is something that I know you have been working on for a while, like years now, right? Because I feel like even from the first appearance that you made on Digging for Kryptonite on our pilot, if I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and double check, but I feel like even in that first episode when I was like, hey, what are you working on? I feel like it's been DEATHSHROUD. You've been working on this for a while.
Yeah, man. I've been working on it since I want to say maybe spring of 2021. I think, like around then. Yeah, so probably when we made that first thing for Kryptonite episode was right when I started. So yeah, it's been like a year and like 3/4, almost 2 years kind of thing. So I'm so excited to have it finally come out and for people to finally get to check it out and see all the hard work we've been putting into it. So yeah, man, I'm so excited. And thank you so much for having me on to talk about it for a little bit.
No, absolutely. As your friend and as someone who enjoys your art and enjoys the comics that you've been a part of, it's really cool to see this come together. And right now, you're in the midst of this Indiegogo campaign to raise funds for the release of the first issue. I'm going to put the link to the Indiegogo campaign in the description here on YouTube, so people can click on that. But do you want to tell us a bit about what Death Shroud is all about? And I had the chance to take a look at a preview copy of issue one, so I have a little bit of background now. But for folks who aren't familiar with it, what's the basic setup for this comic?
Yeah, so it's let's see, it's a dark anti-hero kind of story. So it's very much in the vein of the Image comics from the 90s, like the original kind of like salvo of Image comics that I grew up with and people of our age have very fond memories of. And the pitch is John Azrael is a soldier who is on a mission that goes sideways and he gets killed and he's soon reborn into this sort of nightmarish creature that kind of it sort of spins out from there, and soon finds out that he's the son of the angel of death. So he's a human, he's half human, half angel, and he gets kind of thrown into this war between a rogue faction from heaven and hell that are kind of conspiring with each other to kind of wipe out humanity, and he's sort of stuck in the middle and trying to save the planet and save the world. So it's a very action packed book. It's pretty edgy and dark and gritty, but it's also super fun and like super high energy. And yeah, it's something like just different and new and super fun and cool. So hoping everyone checks it out because we've been having a blast working on it, and it's been a long time coming, and we've been putting everything we have into it. So I'm so excited for people to finally get it soon. You know.
Right on. I got to tell you, like I said, I got a chance to take a look at the preview copy of issue one. Thank you for sharing that, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun, and I know you guys have been billing this as something for fans of Spawn and Venom and things like that, and I definitely see that crossover there. What's funny
Mhm.
is that I wouldn't necessarily put myself in that camp, but what really did it for me, honestly, reading it, as you know, because we've talked about this, I'm a huge Supernatural fan. I watched Supernatural for 15 years. So when we get into all of this business of heaven and hell and a Nephilim, the product of a human and an angel, dude, I was there. Like it really. So if for anyone out there, depending on what your tastes, your interests are, any Supernatural fans, like it definitely grabbed me from that perspective.
Oh yeah, totally. So yeah, Supernatural is a show that I loved for years. So that's definitely like has seeped its way into the art that I've been creating for the book for sure. And like the writer and the creator of the book is Chad Larson. He comes from the world of video games. He had a whole career in video games and esports before launching this company. And he wanted to create something, and I was on very when I got brought on board, I was like lockstep in with him on this. Was that he wanted to create something in the vein for like Spawn and Venom, but also for video games like Darksiders and Diablo and like all those kind of like cool RPG adventure games. So it has a very video game angle to it, right? Like so if anyone's thinking like, oh, it's like Spawn, but it's much more like I want to say it's much more fun, supernatural, like in terms of like the genre, like supernatural, like adventure, action packed, like fun book. It's really cool.
Right. Speaking of Chad Larson, the writer and creator, and the man behind Dream Key Comics, right? This upstart publisher, right? That you guys are
Mhm.
building. How did you guys connect initially?
So he reached out to me via email and just asked me about my interest in working on the project and my availability and stuff. And it came at this perfect time when I was between projects with DC, and I was had sort of at like I had a couple options on where to go, and it just felt like this perfect opportunity to try to flex my wings and do something that I hadn't done yet before, right? Which was be involved in the creation of the story, like not just as the art, but also on the story end. So Chad's obviously the writer and the creator of it, but he's been very collaborative with bringing in my input, and I've gotten to put a lot of like my ideas and suggestions into like what how where the story goes and where we spin out of Death Shroud, because we have God willing, we have a lot of plans to expand the universe out of this as well with new characters and new IP. And actually, if you go to the Dream Key website, there is a new character that's on there already that I created the designs for, and me and Chad co-created the character, whose name's Shadow Slayer, and he's part of this Death Shroud universe. So the plan is to do a series for him after the first 9 issues of Death Shroud wraps up. So, and he's a pretty sick character. He's in the realm of like, if we're thinking of like video game type, he's like of a Ninja Gaiden, Dynasty Warriors esque kind of character. So it's like very like fantasy inspired, like very ninja, very again high action, lots of cool stuff. So yeah, I'm so excited. I just hope everyone can check it out and see if they are into it or not.
No, that's very cool, and I love that you have this opportunity to, have more input right on the creative side, and also it's like I know how much you've loved getting the opportunity to draw iconic characters from
Yeah.
DC and Marvel that we grew up with, of course. But I would imagine from an artistic perspective, having more of that blank canvas, right? Like you're not as beholden to what's already been established, and you can really cut loose. Like that must be very freeing. And with Death Shroud in particular, had the main character already been designed, or were you involved in the initial design for that?
So Death Shroud himself was already designed.
Gotcha.
So yes, but in the issues going forward, so the proof of concept was done by another artist, and I came on with which is the second half of issue 1, is where I come on. And so everything from there forward, me and Ryan Stegman, actually, he did a few designs too for some of the characters. So Ryan had a hand in a lot of the designs in the early stages as well. That's another thing I want to talk about, was all the awesome cover artists that we have on it. And Ryan Stegman provided the A cover and the back cover for this issue. So that was really cool. Yeah. There's something else I want to say about the design. Now I can't remember, but I'm sure it'll come back. Sorry.
Yeah, let it
Well,
let
a
it
lot of stuff I'm thinking of. Yeah.
let it percolate, and whenever it comes up, you jump in and you share that. But kind of on the note of the covers and the issues and everything that's coming. So, like we said, right now there is an Indiegogo campaign that's doing very well, but we still want more people to participate and get on board with this. For the release of the giant size issue number 1, which includes, like you said, that initial chapter, and then the second part that you drew. And so how far ahead are you guys? How many issues are in the can?
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. So this first issue is actually completely done, printed, everything. Like it is like I have the copy in my studio here. Like so it is, as soon as the campaign's done, they're going to be shipping out, and I believe within 2 months after the campaign, like it's going to be like as soon as it's done, Chad's going to start shipping them out. So yeah, so but it is a small grassroots upstart right now. So he's shipping locally from Canada. So it may take a while to go through, but he's going to be doing them. I think he has plans to have them all out within 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So yeah, he's going to be doing that immediately. And then for the remaining issues, we have fully drawn, colored, lettered, everything completely done up through issue 6. So we're going to be running back-to-back Indiegogo campaigns. Like as they go, like once this one's all fulfilled and sent out and shipped, we're going to start the next Indiegogo campaign, and so on, like throughout the year. So there will be no delays with this. So for people who back it, you're going to get your product immediately, and it's super high quality. It's high quality paper. It's all made and printed in North America. So he's from Toronto, so he's using a local Canadian printer there and he's going to be shipping himself out. Yeah, we got lots of great perks. Like I said, we've got Ryan Stegman cover. We've got my cover. We've got Tyler Kirkham and Brett Booth, which is awesome. 2 really good friends of mine, and they're phenomenal artists that we got to have on there. We have Kyle Hott's cover. We have Puppeteer Lee, who did a cool like painted cover. Bjorn Barnes, who did like a computer graphics imagery kind of cover, which is super cool. It's like it looks like almost like a sculpture on the cover. And then we have In-Hyuk Lee, who I'm super excited about. He's like has a, like a very anime painted kind of style, and it's so different and unique looking. So we've got a wider range of cover artists that have bring different styles and flair to it. So yeah, like I encourage everyone to go and check it out because they all look really cool.
Awesome. So yeah, so you have a variety of covers to choose from. There's also a bundle where I believe you get one of each of them. So you have a few
Mhm.
as far as reward options. Then I think there are some other perks or add-ons that you can get. But so that's there. I hope everyone will check that out. Is there anything I didn't ask you about? Is there anything you want to share about the project itself, the story, your process, anything that you think folks should know?
Just that it's been a long time coming. Like we were talking earlier about working at the big companies like with DC and getting to draw all the icons. And yes, that was amazing. And like I love my time doing that. And like I definitely still like want to at some point go back. Like I have that Superman story that I want to tell very badly. Um, but like it's such a cool change of pace to, like I said, create something from the ground up and new. And the last few years I've been feeling sort of really nostalgic about like when I was a kid, like in the 90s, like all the new kind of IP and product that were being made, whether it was through comics or video games or movies or cartoons. And this really brings me back to that point when I was younger, where it was like new ideas, like and new stuff, like that joy that I felt when I discovered Dragon Ball Z and like Final Fantasy and like Gundam and stuff. Like I want to be like supplying that now for new people who are looking for maybe something new and like a new idea that they didn't know that they were going to love. And hopefully this is it. So I really, really hope everyone goes and checks it out. And for everyone who has already supported, like, thank you so much. Like Chad, we both, Andrew, we all just appreciate from the bottom of our hearts, because this is, like we said, a grassroots startup, and we have plans to take this company further, but we need your help now, and every little bit helps. And we're so appreciative of everyone who's put in their support and their money, and just sharing it, and like getting the message out through social media, through sharing it and stuff. Like anything you can do, like, thank you so much, because we really, really, really do appreciate it. So yeah, and the product that we have, like I said, it's very nice paper, thick cover. It's going to be like I said, it's going to be express ship from Canada with Pure Later, so it will get to you within 5 to 7 business days, and it will be very, very well packed. Because like both me and Chad are both comic book collectors, and we know how important that is for like collectors to have good product that's not going to be all mangled up by shipping. So when you get your books, they'll be super well protected and well wrapped and good to go. So yeah.
Well, all the collectors appreciate that, I'm sure. I've ordered my V-Ken Marion cover. I'm excited to get it. As much as I read the preview copy, on my computer, I'm looking forward to ripping open that box and holding the issue and reading that. And as someone I've crowdfunded in the past, right? I funded my comic shop Country, my last documentary film, through Kickstarter. So I've been down this road. I can identify, and I'll echo what you said, that every bit helps. And I'll take it a step further, and I'll say, for people who, if you want to get involved, but, maybe making pledging for one of the covers isn't feasible for you for whatever reason, a couple of other options, right? Like you can make a pledge without a reward if you just want to kick in a couple of bucks, right? If that's something that, is more within the realm of possibility for you, or even, again, like you said, sharing it. It's like really every bit helps. And especially if there's someone out there, we've mentioned a number of other characters and projects that this book might appeal to. Like if you have someone in your life who's into that sort of stuff, share this with them, right? Because it might be something that they're interested in. So, and really every bit helps. Because I remember when I did that Kickstarter campaign, I remember I spoke to a friend of mine, like, after it was all done, and he had not pledged, but, it was fine. And I didn't bring it up, but he did. And he was like, I wasn't able to, like, I just wasn't in a position to pledge the amount that I wanted to. So I didn't do it. And I said, of course, like, I understand this and that, but it's one of those things where it's like, even $1, right? Like, even if that's all that is reasonable for someone to put out there, like, really every bit does help. So,
Oh, it's so true. Yeah, and we take none of it for granted. Like, seriously, like, we appreciate every one of you who have supported us, because we know, like, your hard-earned money. Like, we want to provide the best product possible for you. Like, we want you to be, we're putting everything we have into it, and we want you to, like, when you get your book to just know that this is like a true labor of love, and we did our best to entertain you for like the half hour it is to read it, and like escape your 9 to 5, and dive back into that world of feeling like you're a kid again and just having fun. Like that's like we really want to provide that, and we appreciate every single person who's put in any little bit. Like we appreciate it so much. And before I forget, I do want to mention the rest of the art team. So it's me doing the art, line art, and then Andrew Dahlhaus is coloring me, and he is one of the best colorists in the industry. Like I'm so happy. I've been working with him pretty much exclusively for the last few years, and I'm so lucky to be working with him. He is, like I said, he's like top 3 colorists in the whole industry. He just story tells with light, and it's amazing. And we have Desi Sentes on letters, and Chad wrote and created it. And I just want to give a shout out to like the whole team, because we all really did put everything we had into it. So I hope everyone can check it out.
Right on. The last thing I'll ask you, and then I'll let you and the audience go here, is I'm just curious what the reaction has been from fans of your art, either online or even more specifically at conventions. I mean, I know the conventions weren't really part of the equation for a while since we were dealing with the pandemic, but because again, on this idea of like creating something new, right? And sometimes it can be tough, right? Because you're trying to break through, and people are so hardwired, to follow the, recognizable, established, iconic characters. But like when you have something that can really pop and capture someone's imagination, having something new and fresh and different, can really make an impression. And so I was just curious, again, either in interacting with fans on Twitter or Instagram or at your table at a convention, like what sorts of reactions you get from people when they see this?
So all I've really been able to show at conventions and stuff has been one of the splash pages. So everyone seems super hyped about it. They like the definitely the leaning into the 90s sort of aspects of my art, like the noodling and the cross hatching. And because we weren't on a very like strict monthly deadline with this book, I could really lean into like putting a ton of stuff into every page. So like a page that would normally take me a day, it took me like 3 days, or 4 days. Like I said, I really put a lot in there. And I've also been leaning a lot into like my like anime influences, like stuff that I liked when I was a kid. So like I feel like that action, that sort of flow and energy from the stuff the little pieces that I've been putting out online has been getting a pretty good reaction from people. Because it's a genuine love, like I feel like I've liked anime since like a long time. So since I was like 12 and 13, so like having those influences kind of like bleed back into my art is like a very natural fit.
Right on. Well, yeah. Listen, I am excited to get my hands on issue #1. I wish you and Chad and the rest of the creative team lots of luck with this Indiegogo campaign. I hope folks will check it out, will support, will share however they can. And again, Kent, thank you for sharing this project with us.
Oh, thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much for having me on to talk about this. And thank you for everyone for your support. It means the world. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right, everyone, check it out.